So now we talk about the foreign invasions of India after the Mauryan era. Then the Persian invasion. Cyrus, the founder of he was the founder of the Achaemenid Empire, that is ancient Iran, Persia. He invaded the northwest front of India in 550 BC. So Cyrus, the founder of Achaemenid Empire, that is ancient Iran, Persia, invaded the northwest front of India in 550 BC. So at that time there were many small provinces like the Gandhara, Kamboja, and Madra, which were constantly. This was at the time of Mahajanpads or around after that. Gandhara, Kamboja, and Madra, which were constantly fighting one another. Gandhar, Shakuni, Kamboja, and whose capital was I don't remember. And then Madra kingdoms who were constantly fighting with each other during this period. Bimbisara of the Haryanka, that is this Magadhan period time. Cyrus around Magadha time. So during this period, Bimbisara of the Haryanka dynasty was ruling over Magadha. Cyrus succeeded in bringing all the Indian tribes west of the Indus like Gandhara under the Persian rule. The Gandhara, all the Indian tribes west of the river Indus like Gandhara under the Persian control. Punjab and Sindh were annexed by Darius the One, who was Cyrus's grandson. Punjab and Sindh in Pakistan, they were annexed by Darius I, who was the grandson of Cyrus. Then son of Darius, that is Xerxes, could not move ahead with the further conquest of India because of the war with the Greeks. Xerxes, that is Xerxes, who was son of Darius, he could not move ahead with the further conquest of India because of the war with the Greeks. So he employed Indian cavalry and infantry in his army. He employed the Indian cavalry and infantry in his army, and effects of the Persian invasion. The trade between India and the Iran grew because of the Persian invasion. The Kharosthi script was brought to the northwest India by the Persians. The Kharosthi script was brought to northwest India by the Persians, and some inscriptions of Ashoka were written in Kharosthi script in these parts. The Kharosthi script is derived from the Aramic script and is written from right to left like the Arabic. The Kharosthi script is derived from the Aramic script, and it is written from right to left. Mm, then Greek invasion of India and its impact. Alexander in 356 to 323 BC. Alexander was the son of Philip of Macedonia. He was the son of Philip. Alexander's father's name was Philip of Macedonia, and Aristotle was his. Then Alexander was the son of Philip of Macedonia, so he became the king in 336 BC. Alexander became the king in 336 BC. Alexander had conquered Asia Minor along with Iran and Iraq. Alexander had conquered Asia Minor along with Iran and Iraq. He then marched into the northwest India from Iran. Then he had annexed the whole of Persia, that is Babylon. He had annexed the whole of Persia. Persia was called as Babylon by defeating the Persian king Darius III. After Darius తర్వాత Alexander వచ్చారు. So by defeat Alexander annexed the whole of Persia, Babylon, by defeating the Persian king Darius III in the battle of Arbela. In the battle of Arbela, Arbela, that was around 330 BC. He became the king in 336 BC. Battle of Arbela with the Persian king Darius III in 330 BC, and he annexed the whole of Persia, that is Babylon. Then Alexander was attracted to India's wealth. In the northwest India, just before Alexander's invasion, there were many small rulers like the Ambi of Takshila, and Porus, who was the ruler of Jhelum, that is Hydaspes region. Ambi of Takshila had invited Alexander. Ambi accepted Alexander's sovereignty, but Porus put up a valiant but unsuccessful fight. So Ambi invited Alexander to defeat the king Porus, who was the ruler of Jhelum region, that is Hydaspes region. Then in the after the Alexander was so impressed with Porus' fight that he granted him his territory back. Porus might have accepted lordship. Okay, Porus must have accepted lordship. The battle became between him and Porus is called the Battle of Hydaspes. This called the Battle of Hydaspes. After that, Alexander's army crossed the river Chenab and annexed the tribes between Ravi and Chenab rivers. They annexed. So Alexander's army crossed the river Chenab. Indus tarvata they Jhelum tarvata they crossed Chenab and they annexed the tribes between Ravi and Chenab. But his army refused to cross the river Base, and then they revolted. They were exhausted after the years of battle. Alexander was forced to retreat in 326 BC. On his way back, he died at Babylon. That is Persia in 323 BC at the age of 32. He died at the age of 32 in 323 BC. Then after his death, the Greek Empire was split. In 321 BC, the Greek Empire was split. In the northwest India, Alexander left four of his governor generals in charge of the four regions, one of them being the Seleucus Nicator, who would later trade his territories in the Indus Valley with the Chandragupta Maurya in a treaty. So, Eudemus Eudamas was the last general of Alexander in India. Eudemus was the last governor of Alexander in the India. Then post-Mauryans. Mauryans and Guptans are very mightiest people who ruled India. Between the second and third centuries, many dynasties ruled India, second and third centuries AD. So this age was called as Traders' Age. Between 2nd and 3rd century AD, the dynasties ruled India, and this age was called as Traders' Age. And then political history. India lost its integrity and unity after the Mauryans, and it was parceled into pieces. It was divided into pieces. Unity, integrity was lost. Number of foreign and the native kingdoms were established. This age witnessed political disintegration or political turmoil. This age witnessed political disintegration or political turmoil. The foreign dynasties were the Indo-Greeks or the Bactrians. They were from Bactria. Indian term given to Indo-Greeks was Yavanas. The Indo-Greeks were called as Yavanas, and they were also called the Bactrians from Bactria. They ruled the northwest Afghanistan. Then were Scythians. The Scythians were the Shakas. The Scythians were from Central Asia. The Indian term given was Shakas. Scythians were from Central Asia. Indo-Greeks were from Bactria. The Indian term given for Indo-Greeks were Yavanas. Then for Scythians from Central Asia, the Indian term was Shakas. And then the Parthians, they were from Parthia, that is northern Iran. Parthians were from Parthia, that is northern Iran. Indian term given was Pahallavas. Pahalvas. Indian term given was Pahalvas. And Uchis. Uchis were from Central Asia. That is Mongolian tribe. They were Mongolian tribe, and Indian term given to them was Kushanas. And Indian name given to them was Kushanas. And then the Scythians and the Parthians are looters. And China and the wall of China, looters of China and wall of China. Looters of China and wall of China was built around 200, and Great Wall of China was built by Shi Huang Ti. Shuangthi. Shi Huang Ti. It was built by the Emperor Shi Huang Ti in 220 BC, and destruction This integration of the Indian rulers was the reason for various rulers' emergence, political disintegration. And Scythians and Parthians were called as uh, looters of China or wall of China. Paschatya, Paschatya or Prachya, Prachya or Paschatya, Paschatya or Paschatya or Prachya. Vedic literature refers every foreigner as untouchables. Vedic literature refers to every foreigner as untouchables. Chinese also considered every foreigners as untouchables. Okay, even Chinese considered all the foreigners as untouchables, and even Vedic literatures. Shakas are also known as Tocharian tribe. Shakas or the Scythians are considered as the from Central Asia are considered as the Tocharian tribe. They held the title as Trakara. They held the title as Trakara. Trakara ante demon అని అర్థం. So Scythians were also known as Tocharian tribe, and they held the title of Trakara. Trakara means demons. Then native rulers of India, native rulers of the Indias were the Shungas, the Kanvas, Sungas, Pushyamitra Sunga of northern India, Kanvas also in the northern India, and Shatavahanas in the Deccan, and Mahameghavarma dynasty or the Chedi dynasty of Orissa. Mahameghavarma or the Chedi dynasty of Orissa. Then Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas, the Sangam age, Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas of South India. In South India, there were Tamil kingdoms contributing to Tamil literature. So Cholas, Cheras, Pandyas, and Ashoka has mentioned about them in his edicts. Ashoka had mentioned about them in his edicts. First, now we read about the foreign kings. The first kings were Indo-Greeks or the Yavanas from the or the Bactrians or Indo-Greeks, Bactrians from Bactria, they were Indianized, name was Yavanas from northwest Afghan. After the death of Seleucus Nicator, they settled permanently in India, but they became Indians and they adopted Indian culture. After the death of Seleucus Nicator, they settled permanently in India, but they became Indians and they adopted Indian culture. So important personalities of Bactrias are, first one is Demetrius. Demetrius, Demetrius, Demetrius. He conquered northwestern India. Okay, the great king, he was the great king of Bactria, and he was the second Greek to conquer India. He was the second Greek after Alexander. Demetrius was the second Greek to conquer India. He conquered the northwest part of India. The northwest India was under the rule of Menander, the governor of Demetrius. The governor of Demetrius, who ruled for 20 years. The northwest part of India, it was under the rule of Menander, 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 the governor of Demetrius, who ruled India for 20 years. So he did not settle in India, but he appointed his in charge. That is, after Demetrius was assassinated by his commander and in chief, and in charge of India was Menander, declared independence. Okay. After Demetrius was assassinated by his commander in chief, so the in charge of India, whom he had kept Menander, he declared independence and he ruled India for a couple of decades. That is, Menander ruled India for 20 years. So Menander was known as Milinda with the capital Sagala. With his capital Sagala, he ruled from capital Sagala. The modern name of Sagala is Sialkot. Sialkot is Sagala. Sialkot. So Sagala was the capital city of Menander, who is also known as Milinda Panho. Milinda. So in the Indian, Menander adopted Buddhism. He was accompanied by a Buddhist monk, Nagasena. Menander, he adopted Buddhism. He was accompanied by a Buddhist monk, Nagasena, and there is also a book called Milinda Panho, which with the questions of Milinda to his Buddhist monk Nagasena, and the answers written. It was written by Nagasena. So Milinda Panho, the quest of Milinda and Nagasena's replies were Milinda Panho or Nagasena Bhikshu Sutra. Milinda Panho is also called as Nagasena Bhikshu Sutra. Nagasena Bhikshu Sutra. Then Milinda or Menander, he patronized Buddhism. Milinda was the first ruler to introduce the gold coins. He was the first ruler to introduce the gold coins. There were double die struck coins. Double die struck coins. They were the double die struck కాయిన్స్. పంచ్ మార్క్ కాయిన్స్ కాకుండా డబుల్ డై స్ట్రక్ అంటే రెండు పక్కల ముద్రించబడిన కాయిన్స్ ఏమో. డబుల్ డై స్ట్రక్ డై రెండు పక్కల ఉన్నాయి, డబుల్ డై స్ట్రక్ కాయిన్స్. సో మిలింద పాన్హో he had a monk in his court, that is Nagasena. Milinda Panho was written in Pali language by Nagasena, and questions of Milinda and answers by Nagasena. Panho means questions. Panho ante questions. Contribution of the Indo-Greeks. So they brought revolutionary changes in numismatics. In contribution of the Indo-Greeks, they brought revolutionary changes in the numismatics. That is, they first introduced the gold coins, that is double die struck coins. Then before them, Indians used punch mark coins made up of two metals, that is copper and silver coins were used in the Mauryan era. They used it started from after the Magadha time. It had started pre-Mauryan era, and in Mauryan era punch mark coins were used made up of silver and copper. But Indo-Greeks had revolutionary changes in numismatics, and Milinda was the first ruler to introduce the gold coins. Indo-Greek, then probably Menander must be the first king in India who introduced the gold coins. They introduced double die struck coins. The coins were inscribed with some texts and symbols. Those coins were they were inscribed with some text and then symbols. On one side we have the king's portrait, title and his name, and on the other side it contains the religious patterns and goddesses deities. On one side we have the king's portrait, his name and his title. On the other side is అతని portrait, అతని పేరు ఉంటుంది. ఇంకొక సైడ్ we have the religious patterns and goddess deities. Then Menander's coins. Menander has got two titles, that is they were Devavrata and Sudevavrata. Devavrata and Sudevavrata on the coins, on the head of the coins. The other face of the coins had Dharma Chakra with 8 spokes. Dharma Chakra with 8 spokes was there because at this point of time no idolatry was introduced. Menander was the greatest of the Indo-Greek rulers. Then idolatry was introduced only by Buddhism. Okay, so Dharma Chakra is pressed on the other side. Oka side emo Devavrata's name and his title, Devavrata, Sudevavrata. Menander's face was put. On the other side it had 8 spokes, and because of that time no idolatry was introduced. Idolatry was introduced by Buddhism. Menander is the only important king of this kingdom. Then the Sagala or Sailot is in Pakistan or in Punjab. Then the other socio-economic features were, that is the technology that the people Indo-Greeks had used. They had use of curtains known as Yavani. Curtains వాళ్ళు ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ చేశారు. సో గోల్డ్ కాయిన్స్ ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ చేశారు, డబుల్ డై స్ట్రక్ గోల్డ్ కాయిన్స్, అండ్ యూజ్ ఆఫ్ కర్టన్స్ known as Yavani. వాళ్ళు యవనాస్ కదా. The curtains were called as Yavani, and which they got from the Greeks. Then Greek term horoscope was derived from the term హొరశాస్త్ర నుంచి హారోస్కోప్ అనే వర్డ్ డిరైవ్ చేశారంట. అండ్ దీస్ Indo-Greeks were the first ones to cross the Hindu Kush, and they pushed towards India by the advancing Scythian tribes. వీళ్ళు స్కిథియన్స్ శాకాస్ ఉన్నారు కదా, వీళ్ళు దీస్ Indo-Greeks were pushed to India by the advancing Scythian tribes. వాళ్ళు ఇట్లా వస్తూ ఉండే కొద్దీ they were pushed towards India, and they ruled a large part of the northwestern India. Then Menander was the important king. Then వీళ్ళు వచ్చి gold coins introduce చేశారు, use of curtains called as Yavani which they got from Greeks, and horoscope term is derived from Horashastra of Indo-Greeks. Then art and architecture, art and culture, they introduced Hellenistic art features in this region, giving rise to Gandhar art of Buddhism, which gave rise to Gandhara art of Buddhism, Gandhar school of art. The Greek Roman art with indigenous element. It is the Gandhar art is a Greek and Roman art with indigenous elements. So the grey sandstone was used. Grey color sandstone is used. Images of this art are known for anatomical accuracy, spatial spatial depth, and foreshortening. The images of this art are known for anatomy అంటే బాడీ పార్ట్స్ అన్నిటిని పర్ఫెక్ట్గా ఉండేది, accuracy, anatomical accuracy, spatial depth, and foreshortening. The Roman influences, outer robe like kaya and human form representations, etc. The Roman influences on this Gandhar school of art were outer robe వాళ్ళు ఒక రోబ్ లాంటిది వేసుకుంటారు కదా చుట్టూ, దట్ ఈస్ కాయా. outer robe like kaya and human form, హ్యూమన్స్నే కదా పెట్టుంటారు వాళ్ళ గాడ్స్లా, హ్యూమన్ ఫార్మ్ representations, etc. were in part of Gandhara school of art. Then the Greek influences were facial images, facial images and man god form. Facial images and the man and god form were Greek influences. Roman influences were the robe kaya and human form representation. Greek influences were the facial images, only face work on images, and the man god form. The next foreign group were the Shakas. The Shakas, they were called as Scythians. They were Shakas, actually they were Scythians who came from Central Asia. Initially they used to attack China. In order to check their menace, China emperor, in order to give check to their menace, the China emperor built the Great Wall of China. The China emperor was Shi Huangdi in 220 BC. In order to give check to their menace, the Chinese emperor built the Great Wall of China. Like the Indo-Greeks, they also did not enter India at one particular time. Okay, in due course of time, they entered India. Almost 5 Shaka tribes entered India, and they had inter-rivalry. The 5 Shaka tribes entered India and they had inter-rivalry. The first tribal head to enter India was Mapus, and so the Shakas were five branches of the Shakas with their capitals at different regions, and one branch is located in Afghanistan. That is Kapi. Kapi ante manki Kapisa in Afghanistan. Then Takshila in the northwest, that is in Punjab, Pakistan. Takshila in northwest, Mathura in UP, and Ujjain in Madhya Pradesh, that is Malwa region, and Barukacha in the Deccan. These 5 were the capitals of the 5 kingdoms of the Shakas. Then the first 3, Kapisa in Afghanistan, Takshila and Mathura Shakas, are not very much important. The Shakas of the Ujjain are important, Ujjaini Shakas. The dynasty was, the ruled dynasty was called as Kardamaka or Kardamanaka Shakas. K-A-R-D-H-A, Kardamaka dynasty or Kardamaka Shakas. The capital of Kardamaka Shakas was Ujjain. Ujjain was their capital city. They had a huge empire which occupied the Malwa plateau in Madhya Pradesh to Gujarat. The Rudradaman, he was the king of Ujjaina. He was a king of Ujjaina Shakas. He was very much important and mightiest among all. And Junagadh inscription or the Prashasti, first inscription of Sanskrit in India. The Junagadh inscription, which Rudradaman had made, it had a Prashasti, which was the first inscription of Sanskrit. It was the first inscription of Sanskrit in India. Probably in 58th century, 58 AD, Garuda Bella, son of Kumaraditya, he humbled the Ujjaini Shakas. Garuda Bella, son of Kumaraditya, humbled Ujjaini Shakas. As a result, Vikrama Shakas had started. As a result, Vikrama era, that is Vikrama Shakas, had started. Then the inscription, the Rudradaman Junagadh inscription says that Rudradaman had the Sudarshana lake repaired. Yes, this is present in NCRTs also. This inscription says that Rudradaman had the Sudarshana lake, he got it repaired, and this is the first inscription in Sanskrit in India, and the repair was done without any vishti, that is bonded labor. The repair was done without any vishti. Vishti means bonded labor. Then shakas of Balukacha. Then these shakas were also called as Kshaharatas. These shakas were called as Kshaharatas. మనం ఫస్ట్లో చదువుకున్నామే the Persian Empire, that is Achaemenid emperors, they conquered the northwest part of India. So వాళ్ళు ఏం చేశారంటే they had introduced into India a system of government. That system of government was called Satrapal system of government ని ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ చేశారు వాళ్ళు అప్పట్లో. సో ద టర్మ్ వాస్ సత్రప్. సత్రప్ మీన్స్ హెలెనైజ్డ్ ఫార్మ్ ఆఫ్ ఓల్డెన్ పర్షియన్ అనమాట. సత్రప్ వాస్. సో క్షేత్ర పవన్ means protection of the realm. So Kshatra Pavan means protection of the realm. A protector means and the Indianized word of Kshatra Pavan was Kshatrapa. Okay, Kshatrapa was the Indianized word. So the Kshatraps, Satraps were divided into a number of principalities. So దాంతో ఒక సత్రప్సే ఈ శాఖాస్ ఆఫ్ బలుకచ్చా అనేవాళ్ళు, ఈ శాఖాస్ ఆఫ్ బలుకచ్చాస్. ఓకే, సో దీస్ శాఖాస్ ఆల్సో వెర్ కాల్డ్ as క్షత్రప లాగా క్షహరతాస్ అనేవాళ్ళు అంట వీళ్ళని. సో దేర్ కింగ్ వాస్ నహపాల అండ్ గౌతమి పుత్ర శాతకర్ణి హీ కాంక్వర్డ్ బలుకచ్చా బై కిల్లింగ్ నహపాన. So the Nasik inscription says క్షహరత వంశ నిర్వశేషకార. క్షహరత వంశ నిర్వశేషకార అని గౌతమపుత్ర శాతకర్ణిని వాళ్ళు నాసిక్ ఇన్స్క్రిప్షన్లో రాస్తున్నారు, గౌతమపుత్ర శాతకర్ణి పేరుని. క్షహరత వంశ నిర్వశేషకార అని గౌతమిపుత్ర శాతకర్ణి నాసిక్ ఇన్స్క్రిప్షన్లో రాశారు. దెన్ ఇంకోటి ఏం చేశారంటే గౌతమిపుత్ర శాతకర్ణి జొగల్ తంబి ఇన్ నాసిక్. ఆ నాసిక్లోనే జొగల్ తంబి అనే ప్లేస్లో దే హ్యాడ్ 10,000 silver coins which was found with Gautamiputra Shatakarni's name written by restriking on Nahapana's name. నహపానస్ నేమ్ కొట్టేసి దాని మీద గౌతమిపుత్ర శాతకర్ణి నేమ్ రాసున్న 10,000 silver coins పైన జొగల్ తంబి అనే ప్లేస్ ఇన్ నాసిక్లో. దస్ ద శాకాస్ వేర్ ఎలిమినేటెడ్ బై ది శాతవాహనాస్. ద శాకాస్ వేర్ ఎలిమినేటెడ్ బై శాతవాహనాస్. దీన్ని క్షహరత అని అంటున్నారు. అనదర్ నేమ్ వాజ్ గివెన్ టు ఇట్ విత్ మహారాష్ట్ర శాకాస్ అంటున్నారు. మహారాష్ట్ర శాకాస్ ఆర్ క్షత్రప వంశ. క్షత్రప అన్నమా క్షత్రపవన్ని క్షత్రప అన్నారు. క్షత్రప వంశ. ద ఇంపార్టెంట్ కింగ్ వాస్ Nahapana and he was defeated by Gautamiputra Shatakarni. Nahapana is the great king and his son-in-law was Rishabhadatta. It was on Nasik inscription. Rishabhadatta donated so much to Brahmins. In Nasik inscription లో ఉంది, says that Rishabhadatta had donated to the Brahmins. So Nahapana ముందు ఇంకెవరున్నారు? క్షహరత డైనాసిటీ ఆర్ క్షత్రప డైనాసిటీలో the first satrap of క్షతరత ఫ్యామిలీ వాస్ భూమక. వెస్టర్న్ ఇండియాలో మహారాష్ట్రలో క్షతరత ఫ్యామిలీలో ఉన్న ఫస్ట్ సత్రప్ వచ్చి హీ వాజ్ భూమక. ద కాయిన్స్ ఆర్ మెయిన్లీ డెపిక్టెడ్ ధర్మచక్ర అండ్ ది లయన్ క్యాపిటల్. కాయిన్స్ అప్పటి కాయిన్స్ అని దే మెయిన్లీ డెపిక్టెడ్ ద ధర్మచక్ర అండ్ ద లయన్ క్యాపిటల్. ద టైటిల్ మహాక్షత్రప వాజ్ ఫస్ట్ యూస్డ్ బై Nahapana ఆన్ హిస్ కాయిన్స్. Nahapana కాయిన్స్ పైన మహాక్షత్రప అనే టైటిల్ యూజ్ చేసుకున్నాడు. దాన్ని స్ట్రైక్ చేసేసి గౌతమిపుత్ర శాతకర్ణి కాయిన్స్ పెట్టారు 10,000 silver coins పైన. And it was mentioned in the Periplus of Erythraean Sea written by unknown author. And this thing, that Mahakshatrapa and a title of Nahapana was mentioned on his coins anedi Periplus of the Erythraean Sea. ఎరిత్రియన్ సీ అనే బుక్లో మెన్షన్ చేస్తున్నారనమాట. దెన్ క్షత్రప్స్ ఆఫ్ ఉజ్జయిని చస్తానా. క్షత్రప్స్ ఆఫ్ ఉజ్జయిని, దట్ ఈస్ రుద్రదామన్ గురించి. ప్రాబబ్లీ ఆఫ్టర్ ద డెత్ ఆఫ్ నహపాన, చస్తానా ద సన్ ఆఫ్ యశోమతిక. చస్తానా ఆఫ్టర్ ద డెత్ ఆఫ్ నహపాన, చస్తానా అనేది నెక్స్ట్ కింగ్ అనమాట. ద సన్ ఆఫ్ యశోమతిక వాస్ ఆథరైజ్డ్ బై ది సెంట్రల్ పవర్ టు రికవర్ ద లాస్ట్ సత్రపాల్ పొజిషన్స్. చస్తానా వన్ ద బ్యాటిల్ అగెయిన్స్ట్ ద శాతవాహనాస్. ఆ తర్వాత వచ్చిన చస్తానా హీ won the battle against the Shatavahanas. The next important was Jayadaman. But the most in Jayadaman, Nahapana, ఆ తర్వాత ఫస్ట్ భూమక తర్వాత నహపాన, ఆ తర్వాత చస్తానా హూ వాస్ ద సన్ ఆఫ్ యశోమతిక. చస్తానా తర్వాత ఇట్ వాస్ జయదామన్. ఆఫ్టర్ జయదామన్, బట్ ద మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ రూలర్ వాస్ రుద్రదామన్. ఉజ్జయిని శాకాస్లో హీ ఈస్ నోన్ టు హ్యావ్ డిఫీటెడ్ శాతకర్ణి. Rudradaman is known to have defeated Shatakarni. Shatakarni, who was the lord of the Deccan or Dakshinapata. And according to the Junagadh inscriptions of 150 AD, it was the first Sanskrit inscription. సో ఈ జునాగఢ్ ఇన్స్క్రిప్షన్లో ఇంకా ఏమేమి రాసింది? జునాగఢ్ ఇన్స్క్రిప్షన్లో రుద్రదామన్ సుదర్శన లేక్ని రిపేర్ చేశారు వితౌట్ ద విష్టి అని రాశారు. అండ్ దెన్ దే ఆల్సో సెడ్ దట్ రుద్రదామన్ హ్యాడ్ డెఫీటెడ్ ద శాతకర్ణి హూ ఆర్ ద లార్డ్ ఆఫ్ దక్షిణపథ అని చెప్పి ఇదే జునాగఢ్ ఇన్స్క్రిప్షన్లో 150 AD అప్పుడు రాస్తున్నారు. అకార్డింగ్ టు కన్హేరి ఇన్స్క్రిప్షన్స్, రుద్రదామన్స్ డాటర్ వాస్ క్వీన్ ఆఫ్ వాశిష్ఠిపుర పులమావి. వాశిష్ఠిపుత్ర పులమావి అంటే రుద్రదామన్ శాతకర్ణి డిఫీట్ చేశాడు. శాతకర్ణి వాళ్ళ సన్ వచ్చి వాశిష్ఠిపుత్ర పులమావి. శాతకర్ణి వాళ్ళ కొడుక్కి రుద్రదామన్ కూతుర్నిచ్చి పెళ్లి చేశాడంట. దెన్ ద జునాగఢ్ ఇన్స్క్రిప్షన్స్ ఇండికేట్ దట్ Rudradaman repaired the Sudarshana lake which had burst during a violent storm. Rudradaman's rule extended, that is it is extended to eastern and western Malwa, upper Narmada, Mahishmati, which is the modern Mandhata, Mahishmati, Gulf of Cambay and Gulf of Kataibar, and northern Gujarat, Marwar in Rajasthan, Kutch, Nishada, Sindh. So it was mostly the upper parts of Maharashtra, Gujarat, Rajasthan, that Sindh area, Nishada, Kutch, all those places were ruled by Rudradaman. He was a very important of Kshatraps of Ujjaini Shakas. He issued many silver coins. He had two sons, Dhamagsada and Rudrasimha. And one daughter who was married to Shatavahana prince Vashishtiputra Pulamavi. According to Amravati inscriptions, Shivaskanda Shatakarni defeated him. It defeated Rudradaman. According to Amravati inscriptions, Shivaskanda Shatakarni. ఆ తర్వాత నెక్స్ట్ వచ్చిన Shivaskanda Satakarni had defeated him. According to Amravati inscriptions, he had complete knowledge of grammar. So Ujjaini, he had complete Shakaslo. Rudradaman, he had complete knowledge of the grammar. Dhamaksada, he succeeded Rudradaman, and he is also known as Dhamaksada. And Rudrasimha also he ruled Ujjaini again. Then according to both his sons, Dhamaksada and Rudradaman's sons were Dhamaksada and Rudrasimha, both ruled their empire Ujjaini. He ruled from Ujjaini. According to Brahmi inscriptions, Queen Prabhudama was his elder sister. Some more important facts from Law Excellence was, out of all the branches, the branch that ruled the Western India was powerful and existed for 4 centuries. For 4 centuries it existed. In 58th BC, King of Ujjain defeated the Shakas and he took title of Vikramaditya. So an era started with 58 BC, which was called as Vikrama era. King of Shakas ని ఎవరు డిఫీట్ చేశారు? కింగ్ ఆఫ్ ఉజ్జయిన్ డిఫీట్ చేశారా? అండ్ హీ టుక్ ద టైటిల్ as విక్రమాదిత్య. సో ద మోస్ట్ ఫేమస్ శాకా రూలర్ వాస్ రుద్రదామన్, వన్ ఫ్రమ్ 130 to 150 AD. విక్రమాదిత్య వాస్ కింగ్ ఆఫ్ ఉజ్జయిన్. Okay. So then their socio-economic features were of Shakas where they emphasized on proper irrigation to the region. That is, they built the Sudarshana like they emphasized on the proper irrigation to the region, which was manifested through the repair of the Sudarshana lake by Rudradaman. Then art and architecture, first ever long inscriptions were issued in Sanskrit. That is Junagadh inscription. Then long inscription in Sanskrit, and earlier inscriptions were issued in Prakrit. The next important ones were the Parthians. So these people migrated from Parthia, that is northern Iran, and ruled northwest India. So they moved from Parthia to India, that is northern Iran. They occupied small territory in the northwest part of India when compared to the Indo-Greeks and Shakas. They occupied very small territory. Then Gondo furnace, Gondophernes. Gondophernes was the most famous Parthian king, and he is contemporary to the Jesus, they say, and they say he's contemporary to Jesus. Uh, then Saint Thomas, apostle of Jesus, came from Syria. Saint Thomas was apostle of Jesus. He came from Syria. He visited the court of Gondopharnes, the Parthian king. He visited Gondopharnes, the Parthian king. And then in this way, in the 1st century AD itself, Christianity entered India. Marco Polo and he had halted in a port of Motupalli in Andhra Pradesh in Prakasham district, and he talks about great Kakatiya women Rudramadevi. Saint Thomas, okay, he and Marco Polo, who is a native of Venice, they visited India from Asia to China via India, and he made certain halts in India and in Kerala, and he recorded his observations. So so we get all this extra information of Saint Thomas from Marco Polo. Marco Polo and Saint Thomas, they halted in a port in Andhra Pradesh, that is Motupalli. Motupalli and a place in Prakasham district. They halted and they talk about the great Kakatiya women Rudrama Devi. So like the Shakas, even Parthians, they became integral part of Indian polity and society. Then art and culture. In the reign of Gondopharnes, Saint Thomas is said to have come to India for the propagation of Christianity. Gondopharnes was between 19 to 45 AD. 19 to 45 AD, and Christian missionary Saint Thomas, the disciple of Jesus, visited India during Gondopharnes. Saint Thomas was from Syria, the first Christian missionary to India. He was the first Christian missionary to India. Marco Polo in 13th century, during his voyage, he wrote in his biography that Madras had Saint Thomas tomb. Okay, అక్కడి సెయింట్ థామస్ వచ్చాడా. సో ఆయన మార్కో పోలో హూ వాజ్ person from Venice, he was on his voyage from central India to China. So they were traveling from India. They had many halts in Kerala and Motupalli in Andhra Pradesh. So Marco Polo, in his biography, he wrote that Madras had Saint Thomas tomb. And Marco Polo, who halted in Motupalli, gave his information about the Andhra ruler queen Rudramadevi. So next comes the Yuchi or Tushans. Yuchi, Y-U-C-H-I, Yuchi or Tushans, the most powerful of the foreign kings. Stretching between river Oxus in Central Asia to river Ganga. River Oxus, Central Asia lo river Oxus nunchi river Ganga in India varaku they were stretching. Yuchi or the Tushans, they were the foreign kings. Their capital was Purushapura, which is in Peshawar in Pakistan. Their capital was Purushapura, which is in Peshawar, and Mathura was their second capital. Purushapura and Mathura. So they are the nomadic tribes of northern Central Asia. Now, they were the nomadic tribes, Tushans or Tocharians. Tushans or Tocharians అంటారు వాళ్ళని. Tocharians, Yuchis or Tushans. So they were the nomadic tribes, and they were very powerful foreign kings of the northern Central Asia. Their empire extended from the river Oxus to the river Ganga, from Khorasan in the Central Asia to Varanasi in the Uttar Pradesh. Khorasan in Central Asia to Varanasi in the Uttar Pradesh. There were two successive dynasties in Kushans. Two successive dynasties in Kushans were Kadphises, Kadphises and Kanishkas. There were two dynasties in Kushans. That is, యూచీస్ టుషన్స్ అన్న కుషన్స్ అన్న ఒకటే, కుషనాస్ అన్న ఒకటే అనమాట. వీళ్ళే కుషనాస్ కూడా. The Kushanas were branch of Yuchi who were principally responsible for conquering the Bactrians and expelling the Shakas from the Bactrian borderland towards the south. They were the principal reason for conquering. Bactrians అంటే ఇండో గ్రీక్స్ని కాంక్వర్ చేసేసుకున్నారు. దే ఎక్స్పెల్ ద షాకాస్ ఫ్రమ్ ది బ్యాక్ట్రియన్ బార్డర్ ల్యాండ్ అండ్ దెన్ టువర్డ్స్ ది సౌత్ ఇండియా పంపించేశారు. సో దీస్ వర్ ఆల్సో ద కుషన్స్ అన్న, యూచీస్ అన్న, టుషాన్స్ అన్న, టొచారిన్స్ అన్న వీళ్ళే అనమాట. సో దే బిలాంగ్ టు యూచీ ట్రైబ్. So because of them only the Great Wall of China was constructed. Then the first capital, their first capital was Purushapura, that was in Peshawar, and the second capital was Mathura. The first important king, wait, some more introduction. In the early part of the 2nd century BC, the Yuchi was living in Kanshu and Ningxia west of Huanghe river. అక్కడ కాన్సు అండ్ నింగ్షియా దగ్గర ఉండేవాళ్ళు, వెస్ట్ ఆఫ్ హువాన్హో రివర్. దే వర్ డిఫీటెడ్ బై ద హుయాంగ్ about 170 BC and they were driven from their home. Kyo and Yen Kao Chen of the records of the later Han dynasty have been identified with the Kujala Cadphises and Vima Cadphises. Kujala Cadphises and Vima Cadphises anta. Then Cunningham reads the title Devaputra onto the bull, Bactrian camel type. The two epithets, that is Dharmasthita and Satyadharmasthita. Dharmasthita and Satyadharmasthita may prove that Kujala was either a Buddhist or a Saiva by creed. Vima Cadphises. And then the Kuchalas, the Kushans were divided into two dynasties, that is Cadphises and Kanishkas. That is Cadphises and a king oka king emo Cadphises, Vima, Wima Vima, Cadphises and Kujala ఇందాక చెప్పామా సత్యస్థిత and సత్యధర్మస్థితలో, ధర్మస్థిత సత్యధర్మస్థితలో they said he was either a Buddhist or a Saiva by creed. So వాళ్ళ పేర్లు యాక్చువల్లీ ఏంటంటే ఎన్ కావ్ చెన్ ఆర్ విమా క్యాడ్ఫైసెస్, కియో ఆర్ కుజలా Cadphises. So Cadphises was the first king. So Cadphises, he appeared to have succeeded his father in about 64 BC and ruled up to 78 BC. Okay, so the first important king was Kujala Cadphises. First important king actually. Leave about this. So their capital was Purushapura, that was Peshawar, and second capital was Mathura. Then the first important king was Kujala Cadphises. Kujala Cadphises peru Kyo. Okay, after some years he became Vasudeva. Okay, Kujala Cadphises became Vasudeva. Then comes Vima Cadphises. Kujala Cadphises, Vima Cadphises. Vima Cadphises, he embraced Shaivism. Vima Cadphises వచ్చి he minted large amount of gold coins called dinars. He minted large amount of gold coins called dinars. He took the title of Maheshwara or Parameshwara because he embraced Shaivism. He took Vima Cadphises. He took the title